Thank you so much for having me. Very much appreciated. Namaskar. First of all, I don't think America has an immigration issue. This country was built on immigrants, by immigrants, and people who are living here at this point of time. They're all immigrants. Very little Native Americans, indigenous people left at this point of time. But I think the major issue is America has a immigration of non-white, non-Christian people. So when it comes to India, especially India, there's a massive undercurrent in America that people like us actually don't deserve to come over here. We come from third world country. And I'd use these quote unquote labels that is being thrown at us constantly from American MAGA base, especially shit eaters, dirty, filthy, cow worshippers, cow urine drinkers, Kali worshippers. They don't understand us what we are, but we are not over here beheading people, terrorizing people, bombing buildings, hijacking flights. We're not those. We're not suicide bombers either. So we are, no matter where we are, Indian population in the world, they have succeeded in work, in business, building communities for the society wherever we live, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in United States or European countries, and etc. So your question is it actually a jive towards India? Possibly so, because we're not welcomed in Western society. We're looked at as a inferior community. We don't deserve here. They call us as we are actually coming over here, taking their jobs, not taking their jobs. The slur is we're stealing their jobs. They call us scammers. They call us call center scammers. These are something that is happening today. It's not a hypothetical situation. It's not a future situation. It's not something that we're making it up. It is happening today. And I particularly see it every single day, literally through social media. And when some people may say, oh, not everybody is like that. But if you go on and say the MAGA base is also the one that I have actually voted for, I have campaigned for, I have supported, they are the one who's actually saying. And don't you think your leader, the leader that we have actually placed in the White House today, are coming and calling India as a putting as a Maharaja tariff? India is buying Russian oil. India is arrogant. Indians are arrogant. They're still buying Russian oil. That kind of language, the language that Trump administration has used, has aggravated the situation more. And when we talk about H-1B, that is a another beast they have unleashed. So the discussion is not whether it is a jab on India or not. They are actually targeting everybody. They're targeting Russia, they're targeting China, they're targeting India, Brazil, Venezuela. So it doesn't matter. It's about American supremacy. It's American hegemony. It's the attitude, the arrogance of what America is. America is supreme. America can do anything, and that's the attitude that has actually gone into every single policy, every single conversation that is happening today. And that's what I think we should be really concerned about. Over here, our first lady, Mrs. Flotus, Melania Trump, has come in visitors' visas. Apparently, she worked during that visa. After that, she applied for H-1B in this country. Then later on, magically, miraculously, and in a God's handiwork, I would say, she met with President Trump. At that time, he was not a candidate, neither a presidential candidate at that point of time, but he was a billionaire. He was a womanizer billionaire. And miraculously, she got a Einstein genius visa, EB1. What kind of skill did she bring to America from Slovenia? I must ask. What did she bring, or what did she produce in this country? What kind of services did she provide to whom? Now, let me ask about Donald Trump's ancestors. His great grandfather, Frederick Trump, came from Germany. and his great grandmother came from Scotland in 1930. So let me ask you this: what kind of money did they bring? The gold card, the $500,000, or the $1 million gold card that President Trump is selling at this point of time? Are they high skilled immigrant that came to America? She was actually a house help. She was a servant of somebody's other houses. So let me ask you this: so when President Trump actually calls the immigrants has to come with skills, what kind of skills are they looking for? They're talking about high skills, high level skills somebody has to bring in. I have no problem with that, actually. In fact, if the law was fair, if president himself was fair, if president himself, his ancestry was fair, they didn't come with $1 billion and to invest in America. And they were with a modest income as well. They were not a billionaires coming in, investing to 200, 500, $700 billion in American society at that point of time. But that was okay because they were white. They were German white Christians. Apparently, President Trump's father's side is Lutheran, and mother's side is I think Presbyterian something. I don't know exactly their denominations, but Christians in general. Today we don't have freedom of speech. You cannot say anything about President Trump. You can criticize President Trump. They are going to come after you. They are actually not even letting the licensed press, the journalist over here. I'm a President Trump supporter. I'm a President Trump's campaigner. I'm a Republican, for God's sake. But they will still unleash the MAGA mob to the people, anybody who's speaking anything in terms of criticism. So the label automatically comes is that you're not a Republican, you're not a American. You might as well run as a Democrat. You might as well go back to India. This is not your country. So I do question them as soon as they bring it up, saying that go back to India. I would ask them, why would you ask me this? Why would you ask me this? Have you ever asked this question to Donald Trump or Melania Trump? That Indians are going to get targeted, and whether it is happening today or not. And so we had to know that this was coming, but nobody was giving any ounce of weight at that point of time. But I kind of felt that this was coming. But now that it is here, let me tell you something. One positive thing. Hopefully, Indian brains are going to stay in India, build Indian road, build Indian infrastructure, build Indian companies, build Indian services and product, and make India great again. And it was a Sone ki Chidiya once, so make it Sone ki Chidiya once again. And I think this is the opportunity. Or it probably has come as probably it's not going to be positive for the short term, but I particularly think that this is actually the wake up call Indians needed. And thank President Trump, and thank America as well for doing what they're doing. They are not just coming after in a small Indian community, and no matter what they call the Indian community, this community is resilient. You have survived both the Islamic invasion as well as the Christian persecution. So please tell me which other community survived in the entire world. Entire world. I'm not talking about subcontinent of Asian subcontinent or European subcontinent. Nobody survived except the Hindu community, except the Hindu Sanatani community. So please understand the resilience the Hindu community actually brings in. And this is a wake up call Trump's America has given you, and this is an opportunity. You have to grab it and run with it. Although it is not a positive situation, and I can particularly say that America is going to suffer magnificently. We're going to see our inflation rise. We're going to see our pricing rise. We're going to see our economy collapse. We're going to see our industry collapse as well, because most of the companies actually run on back office on Indians and IT support. The mundane work that nobody wants to do is done by Indians. Because Indians don't complain. We come here, they give us job, we just literally take the job and do the job. and we don't complain. And this is why they are going to our country is going to suffer, because we don't have people with that amount of money working 17, 18, 19 hours a day. You start your day at 6 o'clock in the morning, you do two calls in the morning, you drop your kids to the daycare, then go to work, you take the entire day. Sometimes you don't even have lunch. Then you come home, pick up your kids, do your homework, then put them to bed. Then you start your international calls again at 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. Americans are not going to do that. They're not going to be able to do the hard work that a H-1B Indian who literally leaves everything and come over here with nothing, with two suitcases. And this at this point of time, just one suitcases, maybe 50 to $200 in their pocket from their employer. They're not going to be able to survive, and you are going to see the downfall of our country, unfortunately. And I don't want to see that. And this is why I had been speaking about it quite loudly, but nobody was taking it. They're literally coming after me saying that you are not American. If I was not American, I would have kept quiet. If I was not American, I would not have said that if they do this, we would be suffering. That is our situation, and unfortunately so. You have an opportunity, please utilize it. Now, when a reporter has asked a question about the how the companies are going to deal with it, he said, President Trump said, oh, they love it, they welcome it. Let me ask you this: if a company had hired an Indian low waged worker over here, and low benefits, low wages, and they're actually not taking any kind of insurance or anything like that. They don't have any burden, if you will. Their savings that they're actually gaining by hiring an Indian or H-1B worker goes a multifold. Now, if you hire an American, there is going to be your dollar amount, your wages is going to go up, your workmen's insurance comps are going to go up, your the unions they have in America, they literally control a lot of jobs as well. The only thing they don't control is the IT industry, I saw, but most of the work is controlled by unions over here. So when companies, top 10, top 50 companies who are making money by hiring a low-waged Indian or Filipino or Chinese guy who didn't complain, just did their work, and Americans are not going to do those the same way that Indians have done. Do you think the American companies are going to make the same kind of profit that they did before? So the reason they actually went to offshore is because they wanted to cut their cost. Let me give you a very a stark example from my place. I live in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's public school. If you look up the statistics, the reading comprehension, the math skills, the STEM skills, the writing skills, and etc., you will be surprised to see the amount of folks that is actually at reading grade, and the subject matter experts in that particular grade level is so pathetic. Sometimes 3%, 6%, at 10%. You're going to be able to compete with the folks from India and China and Philippines, Singapore. We don't have the infrastructure here. We're hurting. And that's exactly what we spoke about, that our country is hurting for many years. And for 20, 40 years, the investment that came to the school system over here, they were not teaching the curriculum properly. They were teaching social curriculum. These kids were used for BLMs. The kids were used for social activism. So unfortunately, this is not the same thing that we're talking about for Indian community or Indian schools or Chinese schools or Singaporean schools. So when the question is America going to be harmed? Absolutely 100%. And it's going to happen quite fast, because if they say they're not going to be able to bring in the folks. If somebody in H-1B actually in India today and they can't come back to America without paying 100,000 at the gate, at the airport, what is the company going to do in America today? Maybe they're going to wait out for 1 year and see what happens. But within the 1 year, we're going to see a massive amount of issues in our country too. Our grocery prices haven't gone down. Our gas prices haven't gone down. Our prices for eggs and bread and the milk and meat hasn't gone down. So the campaign promise that Mr. President has promised during that time, what has he delivered? I say he's delivered, he actually promised virtue but delivered hypocrisy. And unfortunately, the only thing that I have seen that massively worked out is the border. But even then, there is some issues that I have seen. The ICE agents are going with masks to capture people. They're not even saying where they're taking. So there are some videos circulating. They're very concerning. If you're going after the free speech, the only pillar of a democracy who actually is able to question the current government, the past government, and the question the corruption, question the societal situation. And today we have a president who's actually making money from businesses outside, and his wealth has tripled since the time he has actually come to the presidentship for the second time. So, unfortunately, what corruption that we have seen under the socialism in India, this is happening over here. And I actually feared this was going to happen under the Democrat umbrella, but this breaks my heart that this is happening under Republican umbrella. This is not what I voted for. This is not what I campaigned for. This is not what I believed in. This is not what I stood for. Everything that I've stood for has been shattered to pieces at this point of time. Campaign promises, of internal campaign promises to external campaign promises. You promised no wars. You promised peace. Now today you go and bomb the boats, not once, not twice, thrice in international waters. And you literally call other countries how to do their business. You call out other countries that they're the dictators. What are we then? What have we become? What is our company to, what is our country today? I warned about it for quite some time right now that Indians are being targeted. We are going to be the scapegoat, whether we are very good citizens or not, whether we are not the community who's hijacking flights, beheading people, bombing buildings, setting a police station on fire, killing and slaughtering people on the street. It doesn't matter. It's because the Indian community is successful. Indian community has shown that in every sector. And the hate against Hindus, that because we are not in Christian converts, we are inferior. I've called it out for quite some time at this point of time that we are going to be targeted as a scapegoat, and this is exactly how it is playing out. And it breaks my heart that the folks that who's actually going to be stranded at the airports today, tomorrow, is their life is shattered almost. And I'm telling you, America is not the country you want to come. 20 years ago, this was probably not the case. 40 years ago, in 1965, Indians started only coming to America after 1965. And before then, Indians were not welcome over here. And today, the current landscape, the political climate is so hostile to Indian Americans, Hindus and Browns, and especially Hindu Indian Americans. I would ask you, why do you want to come over here? Do not. Make your country better. And this is an opportunity for you to actually do better. You are so good. You are actually building product and services in America. Why can't you do the same thing in India? They are calling us shit eaters. They're calling us cow worshippers. They're calling us cow urine drinkers, filthy leeches, stealing American jobs. Why do we need to come over here? Please stay in India. Please build India. That is the Sone ki Chidiya. Yes, you are going to be taking a lot of it in the short term. But this is a boon. And thank President Trump for it. Thank America for it. because of this, India will do well.